Hello Roots members, today is the day, it's the first plug plant party of the season and we are giving away cabbage, cauliflower and strawberries. These are things that we can get in the ground now. They're super frost hardy, so we don't have to worry about fleecing them or anything like that. Just get them in the ground and see how well they grow. This is my brassica cage and I've just constructed it out of four 1.5 meter posts, hammered them into the ground. I've attached little screws onto them, and then I just use this trusty netting and I hook it off and over. It's the easiest structure that I've built, and also this is the third year it's now being used for, so unlike some of the cloches and the cheap stuff that you'll get off Amazon and eBay, I've built this to last many seasons, and I don't want the things that I grow with to end up in landfill within a season. It feels quite counterintuitive to growing if the stuff we're going to use is going to end up in the tip. So what the plan is today is that I'm going to plant out my cauliflower at the front. They take up the most space. Then I'm going to do some cabbage behind, and then I'm going to leave the back area for the Brussels sprouts and the purple sprout and broccoli that we're going to give away later on in the year. I think that's going to be in June. So just bear in mind the space that you're creating for your brassicas. They will require netting because the cabbage whites love them and the pigeons also love them. So a majority of brassicas have a lot of sugar in their leaves, and that's what attracts the pigeons to them. So I'm going to be putting in my cauliflower first. They need around 45 to 65 centimeters, and luckily this year we have created these awesome cheat sheets that will be attached to the plug plants. So if you do collect them or you can't turn up to your plug plant party, then these cheat sheets are going to really help you out. It gives the spacings at the bottom and also tells you the allocation per patch size. So hopefully there'll be no confusion this year. We're really trying to up our game and give you all the information that you need to run your patch in a super smooth way, and successful obviously. So let's get going. So this is going to be the front of my brassica cage. It's the sun on our site in Tuckers Meadow. It starts over there, hangs above the field all day, and then drops down over there. So I know that if I put my short brassicas at the front, then the tall brassicas at the back are going to grow up and they're going to still get the light. So the short ones will benefit from it. If you put your tall ones at the front, then they might cast a little bit of shade on the others, which is fine. Brassicas are shade tolerant, but they just won't grow as vigorously. So I'm gonna go, my cauliflower is gonna grow probably about that big. So I am gonna give it a good 60 centimeters. I'm gonna come in a little bit from where I know my brassica cage is gonna hang over, because if you do have leaves touching the sides, then that means that the cabbage whites can actually land on the netting and lay their eggs through the netting. So they're pesky little buggers, they are. So we're just going to do a real nice dib hole. You can fill it in a little bit if it goes a bit deep. So one, that looks about 60 centimeters. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've got our holes dibbed, we know where we're planting, we're going to grab our cauliflowers. Now I can kind of tell the difference between the cauliflower and the cabbage is cauliflower leaves, they look a slightly different tone. If you think of the cabbage, you like cabbage super green, then that's the cabbage. Cauliflower slightly muted and mottled colors on the right. So planting plug plants, literally 2 fingers either side of the stem, and you get it in the hole and just gently press it in. You don't necessarily need to fill it in. I got this tip from Charles Dowding. He basically does it for time. If he spent all of his time filling in every single little hole like that, then it would just add to the amount of time that he needs to spend doing that task in his big market garden. So I follow this as well. It just seems to make sense, like a lot of the things that he does. There we go. These cauliflowers are getting nicely tucked in. Lush. So 3 cauliflowers, about 60 centimeters apart. I'm doing a bit of guesswork here, and if they do start to get a bit clustered, you can just remove some of the outer leaves, give them a bit more breathing space. So the cabbage, I think that requires a little less room. It's not as big, so not as vigorous. So we'll see if we can fit a few more in here. I've sown some kale at home, so I'm leaving a bit of space for that as well. So we go 60 centimeters from the cauliflower, it's about here, and then around 35 in. So I reckon our first cabbage is good to go there, and second one 35. It's about that, isn't it? Second one there, and then my third one here. Lovely stuff. Just squeeze them in. You don't have to force it as well, but they do like to be in the ground quite firmly. There we go, lovely stuff. So that's the brassicas in, and then with the strawberry, I just recommend planting it somewhere in the patch where you've got a bit of room. They do spread quite crazy, so I'll just quickly show you where I put mine. I've actually planted them at the bottom of my compost bin. I'm hoping that the strawberries from the ones that I plant here are gonna maybe stop the slugs from spreading everywhere else on the patch. And just a little last note, I put some peas out last night, and I'm just praying for the best really. Last year they got a little bit damaged by pigeons, so I've put a net at the bottom. But yeah, hope everyone has a really lovely time today and enjoy your growing.